The day the sky cried fire. The sky split open at 3:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A brilliant line of molten silver sliced through the blue above New York City, followed by another and another until the heavens looked like they were bleeding. People pointed, filmed, laughed nervously. Then the world died. Orbital strikes vaporized cities in seconds. Shock waves shattered glass across continents. EMP bursts knocked jets from the sky, silenced satellites, and plunged Earth into instant chaos. Beijing, Cairo, London, and Sao Paulo became craters, just names on a map no longer relevant. Captain Adrian Vale watched Washington, D.C. vanish in a white-hot column of fire from the outskirts of Baltimore. He didn't speak. Couldn't. His wife and daughter were downtown, waiting for him at the park. Gone. He dropped to his knees as ash rained from the sky. The aliens didn't issue demands. No messages. No ultimatums. Just extermination. The few survivors would later learn their names. The Zyraxis Dominion. A cold, ancient species that ruled by culling inferior life. To them, Earth was just a wild planet harboring over-evolved vermin. But humans didn't die quietly. Vale had been a systems engineer for the U.S. Space Command, a man of logic and orbit trajectories, not guns. But something broke inside him that day. Something permanent. When the Zyraxis drones descended from the atmosphere, Vale didn't run. He fought. 2 weeks later, the cities were silent. The internet was gone. Governments shattered. But beneath the ruins, in sewers and bunkers, a resistance pulsed. Scientists, soldiers, farmers, and hackers, those who hadn't burned or been rounded up. They scavenged fallen drones, tore open alien tech, reverse-engineered their weapons with sheer human rage. Vale became one of their leaders, not because he wanted to, but because the fire in his eyes wouldn't go out. In the subterranean halls of what used to be a university lab in Colorado, he addressed a ragtag group of survivors. 20 engineers, 5 Marines, 3 medics, and a teenager holding a plasma rifle still dripping alien coolant. They think we're broken, he said quietly, voice hoarse. They think Earth is done, but they didn't finish the job. A pause. Faces stared back, exhausted, starving, afraid. Vale stood straighter. His voice sharpened. They took our sky, our cities, our families, but we're still here, and we're not hiding anymore. Silence. Then someone clapped. Slowly. Then another. Until the room filled with echoing hands and something deeper. Hope. That night, under the ruined stars, Earth was no longer the battleground. It was the birthplace of vengeance. The first retaliation. The first alien to die by human hands screamed in a frequency no one had heard before. It happened in the dark, on the cold surface of Ganymede, a Jovian moon far from the sun and even farther from mercy. The Zyraxis had built a listening post there, meant to monitor Earth's final flickers of resistance. They didn't expect a counterattack. They thought humanity was too primitive, too broken. They were wrong. Captain Adrian Vale stood aboard the Retribution, a warship patched together from Earth's last orbital platforms and salvaged Zyraxis hulls. Weld scars crisscrossed her frame. Her engines roared like beasts in pain, but she flew, and more importantly, she killed. "Drop us right on top of their array," Vale said. His second-in-command, Sergeant May Lancer, nodded. Gravlock confirmed. "We're coming in hot." The ship plunged through Ganymede's thin atmosphere, retro thrusters screaming. Below, the Zyraxis outpost flared with activity. The aliens had finally noticed. Vale didn't care. Boots hit ice. Human Marines, wearing vacuum-sealed armor stitched together from stolen alien polymers, charged through the dim surface haze. Pulse rifles stitched blue fire into Zyraxis forms. Drones screamed. A plasma beam sliced through Lancer's shield, melting it into slag, but she didn't slow. Humanity had come to make noise. In 6 minutes, it was over. The Zyraxis were dead, and their machines lay gutted. Vale stood over the last of them, a commander with glowing tendrils and too many eyes. Its translator crackled as it spat venom in its language, then hissed in broken English, "You are vermin. You were meant to kneel." not claw back. Vale said nothing. He raised his rifle and fired once, straight through the alien's eye cluster. Back on the Retribution, the crew gathered in the command bay. The room was silent as Vale stepped forward to the comm station. It took them weeks to hijack a Zyraxis frequency and days more to learn how to broadcast on it. Now it was time. A young technician nodded. "You're live, Captain. All their regional channels. They'll hear you." Vale stared into the cold glass of the recorder. His voice was steady. "You came to our home without warning. You murdered billions. You called us primitive, weak, beneath your concern." He leaned forward. "You should have finished the job." He let the silence sink in before continuing. "Now, we're coming for you. Not for peace. Not for justice. For vengeance. Your colonies. Your fleets. Your stars. A breath. Then, from this day forward, humanity is no longer defending Earth. We are hunting you." He cut the feed. No cheers followed. No applause. Just the quiet hum of purpose spreading through the ship. In that moment, the war changed. Humanity had made its first move, not in fear, but fury. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The stars will bleed. Human ships had no business sailing among the stars. But there they were, swarming through Zyraxis space like angry wasps with stolen stingers. The galaxy had watched Earth burn. Now it watched humanity burn everything back. Captain Adrian Vale stood on the bridge of the Retribution, watching a Zyraxis moon station erupt into fire and dust. A direct hit from their particle lance had cracked the station's core open like an egg. Oxygen vented. Bodies tumbled out, frozen in silence. No survivors. That was the point. The mission wasn't about strategy anymore. It was about sending a message. You are not untouchable. You are prey now. Across the galaxy, systems under Zyraxis control began to go dark. Mining colonies found their atmospheres vented overnight. Data hubs were erased with weaponized viruses. Human infiltration teams, trained in silence and brutality, used cloaked transports to strike at infrastructure the Zyraxis had once considered invulnerable. Other alien empires watched with unease. For 15,000 years, the Zyraxis Dominion had ruled through fear, technological supremacy, and ritual extermination of any species that dared to resist. Now, a single backwater species from a single blue planet was tearing into them like wolves. Vale walked through the lower decks of the Retribution, past makeshift barracks packed with fighters from every continent. Tattoos marked the names of lost cities. Paris, Johannesburg, Tokyo, Seattle, burned into arms and backs. The humans didn't forget. That was their strength. Pain was their banner. He found Sergeant May Lancer in the war room, running simulations. "We've intercepted something," she said. Encrypted Zyraxis transmission, broadcast from their inner sectors. Vale leaned in. "Translation's rough," Lancer added. "But we caught one word over and over again. The Crucible." Vale frowned. "Their home system?" She nodded grimly. "We think so. Their fortress world, untouched for millennia. It's where their war machine is born." Vale stared at the star map. Hundreds of red dots marked known Zyraxis systems. Humanity's footprint was still small, but it was growing like cracks spreading through old stone. "How long until we can strike it?" he asked. Lancer hesitated. "We're weeks away from having enough ships. The Resistance Council wants to wait. Rebuild. Plan." Vale's voice dropped to a growl. "And give the Zyraxis time to retaliate? Time to recover." He turned to the map. The Crucible pulsed softly, like a heart in the dark. "No," he said. "We press now, while they still bleed." That night, Vale addressed the growing fleet from the Retribution's comms deck. "To those who still doubt, this is not just a war. It's retribution. They wanted Earth silenced. We'll silence their stars." His words echoed across a dozen ships now bearing names like Vengeance, End of Empire, Ashes of Soul. Ships that should not exist. Fleets that had no right to stand against an ancient empire. And yet they did. The hunt had begun, and the stars would bleed. Their stars are ours now. The Crucible burned. What was once the heart of a 15,000-year-old empire now floated in pieces, ringed by shattered moons, gutted warships, and the drifting corpses of an alien dynasty that believed itself eternal. Captain Adrian Vale stood aboard the Retribution, staring through the main viewport at the destruction. The Zyraxis homeworld, once a glowing jewel of dark metal towers and planetary defense rings, now cracked open like an overripe fruit. Fires stretched across its atmosphere. The screams had long since gone silent. The final battle had lasted 13 hours. Humanity had come with every ship they could salvage, steal, or build, from a nuclear-powered Icarus flame to the stealth-capable ghost of New Delhi. They arrived like a storm and fought like vengeance incarnate. The Zyraxis resisted to the bitter end. Their fleet was massive, thousands of ships layered in psychic shields and particle barriers. But they fought like they had something to lose. Humanity fought like it had already lost everything. And that made all the difference. Vale's voice cracked over the fleet-wide comms as he gave the final order. All units, hold fire. The crucible is broken. The war is over. A silence settled across the channel. Then came cheers, sobs, screams of exhausted triumph. Even the coldest killers aboard the Retribution allowed themselves to breathe for the first time in years. But Vale didn't cheer. He stood in front of a captured Zyraxis noble, the last of their ruling caste, brought from the capital's ruined palace. The alien's robes were torn, its tendrils bound in energy cuffs. Its luminous eyes trembled, not in pain but confusion. You were livestock, it rasped. You had no fleet, no stars, no empire. Vale nodded. Exactly. You made us nothing. Then he leaned in, and we built ourselves from that nothing just to tear you apart. Without ceremony, he turned away. He wasn't here for speeches. Humanity wasn't here for mercy. The alien was taken away. Not executed, but imprisoned to watch the galaxy change. Vale returned to the bridge. Sergeant May Lancer approached. Our scout ships report. Dozens of alien civilizations are contacting us. Some want peace. Others are afraid. Vale looked down at Earth's new flag, a patchwork of stars and fractured wings, stitched from the ashes of a dead world. We're not conquerors, he said. We didn't come here to rule. She tilted her head. Then what are we now, sir? He stared into the crucible of stars as humanity's fleet drifted in silence above their enemy's grave. With a consequence, he keyed the fleet-wide broadcast one last time. This is Earth Command. Effective immediately, the Zyraxis Dominion is no more. Their homeworld is neutralized. Their empire has fallen. He paused. If any would challenge us, remember, we did not start this war, but we finished it. He closed the channel. And with that, the war was over. But a legend had begun. Humanity, once forgotten in the backwater of the stars, now hunted the heavens. And the galaxy would never forget the day Earth came for vengeance and took everything.